All right, welcome back to another triple IM review. We're starting off today with the Aune Jasper, and Aune doesn't make IMs except for this one, which is $300 and a single 10mm driver. And if you know anything about Zeos and Z reviews and his taste in things, I tend to like the ones that are just purely a dynamic. Just that's it. Give me a well-tuned dynamic and you're done. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, how am I listening to argons? Not T60 argons, T50 argons. The slightly dark, slightly recessed, wider, warmer version. And I'm like, ooh, in an IM for roughly the same price. That's a description. That is a description of these. Before I take them out of my ears and show you, they come with a very nice black Barbie ottoman. I call these the Barbie ottomans because they look like the size of an ottoman if you were in a Barbie house. Do Barbie still have a house? I would love to see if the design changed. I think my sister had one of those. So we've got some basic tips and the earwax cleaning thing brush, and that's it. I'm sorry, it's not it. There's also a cleaning rag. There you go. It's at the very bottom. There you have it with that. So not like a ton of accessories. For $300, you usually get like a little bit more, but I'd rather have them spend it on the design and the R&D than just a bunch of shit for airplane adapters. And I'm listening to these through the IFI Zen can. Actually, everything's being fed. I've got the IFI IDSD Neo feeding the IFI Zen can, and also this is also feeding the Shelly Arish, and that's the 3 amp DAC amp. Well, that's the 1 DAC and 3 amps I'm going to be using. And like, it doesn't need that much power because I'm at 23 dB down and I've got that on like level 2. So it's just a pleasant experience. It's one of those IMs that I put in and I'm listening and I just forget I'm wearing it and just start bobbing my head to the music. It's just like, yeah. You know what? Yeah, fuck OH10s. Or like, here's the thing. That question popped up while I'm listening to this. And I listened to OH10s like 10, 12 days ago. And I'm trying in my brain. I'm not going to bring them out and do a direct comparison because that just ruins reviews for me. I'm not going to directly compare them, but I'm going to say these are almost twice the price. Actually, the OH10s have dropped in price. But these are twice the price of the OH10s. Are they worth twice the price? But I think these absolutely, with the other shit that's around $300, like the Mangrid T's and the Legacy 5s, these absolutely have a slot where they're like, all right, what do I want? Because I don't think there's many that are just like a good, dark recess sound. And recess isn't bad. Please, for the love of God, do not take that as, oh, they're recessed. I don't want those. You might. If you've ever heard me talk about argons, because again, I'm going to reference those argons right there. These are just like these big, wide, soundstagey, delicate things that aren't like in your face. There was a couple songs where there's like a weird like dun dun dun, and I felt the pressure, but it was like the most pleasing thump in my ear that I've heard, and I could just play through these like my whole playlist. Matt Mulholland, When We Kiss. If you haven't heard Matt Mulholland's When We Kiss, please look that up on YouTube. Yeah, these are both pleasurable and unoffensive and enjoyable. Aune makes hardware, and I haven't heard them on an Aune piece of hardware, or an On. I think someone corrected me to say that's On, or it's On, and that's fine. Because they made a good showing in an IM. That's impressive for a first go. And they look kind of interesting too. I've got Dakoni tips on all 3 of the IMs I'm reviewing today. We've got 2 Thieaudios. We've got the Oracle and the Excalibur, which are more money than this, so this one's going first. And again, I'm not really doing these to compare direct. I'm going to compare these directly because they're like $10 apart. But this is just sort of like, I'm just clearing off that table. I'm only doing every other day videos. I don't get enough IMs in. I don't want to expand these to like 5 IMs at a time. So 3 will have to do for now. We've got like a little like hockey stick or the letter J, which looks like a little grill. I don't think it's actually venting anything. being a single 10 millimeter, it's not that large. It is a little weighty bastard. It's like if the OH10s are on a diet and you have a smaller whole round unit. MMCX, the wire, whether it comes in silver or this is like a chrome black. I'd probably get the silver. I have a thing for silver IMs. The blonde BLO3s are like a silver IM, or the KXXSs were silver. I really like the look of those. Black ones are sort of like, okay, you're trying to be understated. These, you'd see someone these in their ears, and you're gonna be like, oh, he just has whatever. Even the OH10s are more flashy than this. These are kind of like subdued. If you're looking for that, if you're looking for IMs you can leave on a bus and no one will steal them, that's probably the ones. The wire, how do I describe the wire on this? Rubberized here all the way down. You've got a rubberized coating until like behind your ear. They are flexible, yeah, you know, give you that shape. Then it's a single rubberized wire, dead, pin, straight, and smooth. The little Aune splitter with the thing, it's aluminum. Then you got a larger wire, a single rubber wire. Usually this is crap. Really like it on these. That goes down to a 3.5 millimeter that sticks out way far. And the very first hour or so I was using these IMs, I was using a 1/4 inch adapter that just was bad. And I'm like, why is everything distorting every once in a while? Because I'm just so used to listening to something and being like, all right, how does it sound? It doesn't sound that good. So I eventually wiggled it and it went, oh, stereo. I was listening to like some weird quasi-mono stereo solution with distorted bass. And then I fixed the 1/4 inch adapter, which doesn't come with the 1/4 inch adapter, I don't think. I don't think it does. And put a good one on and it's like, oh, these are fucking excellent. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't hate anything about these. And I think for 300, you're probably, if you like your argons, get them. Get them right now. There's nothing stopping you except if you want to try to go, because I think even like the OH10s have more low end than this, but this is like a smoother low end. If that makes any fucking sense to anyone watching this video. Because I put them in and I'm just like, yeah, oh fuck. I would meditate with these. Meditate. Spell it correctly. I'm putting them back in for a little bit. Because they're actually relatively small. And I like the shape. Like, I'm going to show you the shape again. The shape's got this hook and it's like, so you can actually put your whole thumb there to press it in. It isn't some weird odd ball with fucking things. Like, you just grab it. Like a dude grabs a thing and be like, jam it in there. It's got a really jam it in there shape, which I didn't know I wanted until I had an IM I could just jam in there. It's piano's playing right now. Postmodern jukebox, call me maybe. And it's got this good wishy-washy like soundstage going on. Imaging always suffers when you have an extremely wide soundstage. Like, you get sort of like, where is it? But it's not like ruinous. I've had some where it's just soundstage, just right, just left. This is actually still transpiring behind me. Like, behind my eyes is just this piano being played. I do like these. I do. Oh, this is a bad recording. Oh, it's Fantasia. This is the original 1930-something, 40-something Fantasia. It had to be 30-something because the war. Oh, we got some like clicks, like some Vice City, like click. And it's just washing over. But I don't consider it like an offense. Like, that would be an offensive click. I don't know if you could hear this. It's like a tick. Yeah, no, yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Fucking yeah. For a first showing as an IM, from a company that's never made an IM, that doesn't look like, as far as I can tell from my bit of research, doesn't seem like they just bought a random IM and threw their name on it. This feels like they actually did research and R&D'd this. This is a fucking strong showing. Hi-Fi Go sent it to me, by the way. I'll be linked to Hi-Fi Go, where they have them in stock. And there's literally nothing other than, hey, we did this all from scratch. You know, 102 decibels per milliwatt, frequency response 5 to 40, detachable cable. Apparently it uses an ultra-linear magnetic system with a uniquely designed cavity for precise sound detail and wide soundstage with high-fidelity, lifelike sound quality. and a MGD multi-gradation diaphragm. Ah, that's what I'm hearing. So there's some interesting tech in this. I'm down. I'm down for this for 300 bucks. I'm glad they didn't come out with the, if these were 500, I'd be like, all right, you know, there's some bigger boys you're playing with at 500. But at 300, that's like, in the world of Zeos, here's how it works. There's people who want under $50 IMs because they're going to abuse them and lose them. And that's, you know, tin T2s and blondes. Those are down there. Then you have like the 100, like the just over 100 Starfields. Get into the OH10s now, they've dropped in price. Like, that's the people who are like, no, I take care and respect my IMs. I want to spend $150 in them. And then you have the doubling of that, which is the $300 range, which is like Legacy 5s and now the Aune Jaspers. And those are people who are actual serious about listening to IMs. So that's like the line. $300, I would have no problem if someone bought a $300 IM and never went any higher than that. Because this is where you get into like those really unique, well-made ones that sound really fucking good. So we're going to leave these alone, and now I'm going to move on to ones that are much more expensive, and I'll compare a little bit to them. Well, we'll see if anything. Right now, the Jaspers are the ones to beat on the table. So I'm going to stop the camera and put these in my ear, or well, figure out which one is less money. One of these is $10 less, and then I'll put that in my ear, and we'll start another review. So turns out the Excaliburs are $10 less than the Oracles. As far as every other aspect, they're identical, like scary identical. Every box is the same. They come with the exact same accessories in their little kit. 2 adapters. I currently have the 2.5 adapted to 4.4. Also has a 3.5. Comes with foam tips, a selection of color-coded foam tips, which I'm not using because I wanted to stay consistent and use Tacony through everything. But nice. Not, again, no airplane adapters, no extra shit. Just a nice case. You're paying over $500 for these. So they give you at least this. You could throw this thing in the trash. And you also get what I'm going to say is the nicest looking IM wire I've ever seen. Like, straight up, I need $1 million IM cable. This is what it looks like. It's a 4-wire, silver, just twist, just, oh, God. Just shiny, like it's like this matte shiny to the aluminum, to the little circle it slides down the double twist up to the thing, and it's glorious, just fucking glorious. And I think this is probably the way to go as far as adaptership goes, because you're either going to use 2.5 or you're going to plug this in. It makes it a little bit large. You get flexible ones, but like that's the simplest way instead of the multi-change adapter heads. So what's the difference, Zeos? Well, let's go to Linsole, where they are, and let's just jump back and forth between the 2 pages. Do you see nothing changing? Correct. You've got 529 versus 539, and then over here it says a Litz 5N OCC 100 wire ×4 silver plated cable, and over here it says a Litz 5N OCC 100 wire ×4 silver plated wire. So cable versus wire, because it's the exact same thing, and someone just typed it wrong. And nothing on this page changes until you get down there to that one paragraph, and then it describes the differences. So the Excalibur. Oh, I should probably tell you what the actual what these are. Both of these are the new Tribrid IM with 2 electrostats, 2 balanced armatures, and a dynamic. So how I was praising like the simplicity of the 10mm, just like give me a single well-tuned 10mm and you're good to go. These are the fuck you polar opposite of that, where we have a dynamic, but then we threw 2 balanced armatures on there and 2 electrostats because fuck you. So at least they're priced accordingly. This is probably the cheapest you'll find anything in this sort of absurd, insane range. But the basic class that they Mark Ronson, Daffodils, feet Kevin Parker. Okay, so here's what your choices are. You have 2 IMs. They're within $10 of each other. They come exactly the same everything. Even the same basically design on them, that the only way to tell them apart is by the word printed on the back, which says Excalibur or Oracle. The Excalibur is designed to be their more fun, more exciting, more outgoing sound. And the Oracle is designed to be the more neutral, flat, and monitoring sound. And I am pleased to provide the information that they are absolutely correct. Because I started with the Excalibur because it's $10 less. Because I pressed they're going to just upcharge professionals to have this neutral sound. And immediately compared to the Jaspers, we've just got more detail, more just electrostats are in him. So you're gonna get more than just a single 10, but those have a very, very nice laid back sound. I don't think those care. The wonderful part about the Jaspers is I think they sit on this table next to these two much more expensive IMs and just like, I don't give a fuck. And that's perfect. So Jaspers are gonna sit there. I'm not gonna compare to them again. What I am gonna do is talk about both of these against each other. I was gonna do one at a time. That's dumb. The differences, we'll get to just the differences first, and then we'll go to like the overall. So slightly more soundstage with the Excaliburs, slightly. And then definitely the I guess you'd call them the frequencies that aren't exactly luxurious or fun, the ones that are like work frequencies that, tend to get cut out of IEMs that are sold are missing from this, which is fine. I'm okay, like 5,000 hertz is just, drop that down a little bit, maybe bump the 1,000 hertz, give it a nice curve so everyone enjoys the sound of it. When you put from the Excaliburs to the Oracles, the bass drops just a touch. So even though they're the exact same design with the exact same 5 drivers in each, they've tuned them in a way that describes exactly how you can tune an IM, and it's actually pretty impressive. So I was going back and forth and back and forth. And I'd say most of the time I was listening to the Excalibur and having a slightly more fun experience. And then I would switch to the Oracle and be like, all right, so it's the exact same thing I've been listening to, exact same shape, exact same tips. I started using the exact same amp in case there was a difference between the Arish, because I know that there can be differences with a, current mode versus like a normal amplifier. So I'm just like, all right, we'll just switch back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it's just, it feels more grown up listening to the Oracles. I feel like both of these are wonderful examples that if you owned both, I would be a little bit like, why did you spend $1,000 to have the same IM twice? But they're not quite the same, but they're both quality. That's the thing, that $500 price tag, this sort of sound out of either one of these 4 years ago was fucking possible, probably, unless you were like Campfire Andromeda levels of like $1,100, $1,200, $1,500 absurd, those are the best IMs that are made in the world. But now you get $500, not the cheapest thing on the earth. Don't get me wrong. It's just like, they're just literally stamping them out, and they have the best wire I've ever fucking touched. And they're comfortable and light. Like there's no metal in this. It's just blow it off your desk. And then they're not that ugly with the seashell and the glitter. The Neos with the black and the gold was sort of like, ugh. But these are relatively good looking. And you put them in your ears, and if you listen to this one on Monday and this one on Tuesday, and you don't have the desk to sit there and directly compare them, you might just go, my nose is stuffy, so maybe that's why it doesn't quite sound as wide, or why the bass, maybe the bass was just as good. Because they're so close, yet just different enough that I think it warrants them selling 2 different sets. And I'm glad they didn't try to make it with a switch where you can switch the switch. I'm really starting to dislike the switch. There was the Model X. The Model X was the only one that I was like, all right, you know what? This switch actually physically does a lot of difference, and that's kind of cool for a $1,000 IM. But usually when it's all little tuning switches on top, it's just like, please, figure out what sounds good and what you want an IM to sound like, and then just produce it. I'd much rather have this sort of system where you just sell me this one or this one, because odds are I'm not going to be switching back and forth between the two. That being said, let's unplug the Oracle and plug back in the Excalibur. Oh, yeah. Into the IDSD Neo. Switch hands. In and out, in and out, in and out. But it's a heat wave. This is why there's a fan in my basement where it's usually very cold. And it's still very cold. There's just a heat wave, so. I don't live in the Northwest, though. They're dying. Oh, yeah, okay. So I took this out. And I just, Mark Ronson, Daffodils. There's just that bit more. More flavor. More low end. More aggression to just like everything upper mid-range. It just hits you with a bit more of like, hey, you bought these because you want to dance. You buy these if you want to listen to music in a professional environment, and you buy these if you want to dance. And it just takes like 5% change in sound for that. Changing up the music. Hold on. Definitely, here's the thing. Definitely not as wide a soundstage as the Jaspers. But I think there's just so much crap jammed in here with the 5 different drivers that it literally is impossible to do that. So I've got like very upfront upper mids. Like there's what song is this? Vampire Weekend Cousins. It's like da-da-da-da-da. So like someone's playing a washboard in my ears. Yeah, the drumstick bang is like dead center between my eyes and perfectly fucking defined. As far as imaging goes, these are both better imaging than the Jasper. I wasn't going to review... Stop talking about the Jasper. Jasper doing their own thing. From each other, they both have amazingly good imaging. Wide enough soundstage on both. The Excaliburs have a little bit more. But the Excaliburs have what I would probably prefer to listen to. Yeah, no. See, there's no denying these. In a Sentimental Mood by Billy Joel. It's just... It's a $1,000 IM. Easily. Man, that does good vocals. Holy shit. I just want to listen to Billy Joel in a sentimental... I don't even want to listen to Billy Joel in a sentimental mood from the My Lives album very often. But just now, just like, wow, tapped right into my brain hole. The piano man himself is just singing to my soul. Whoa. Okay, that was a skip. We just went to the Blade Runner 2049 OST 2049. Anyone who knows anything about music knows... that is not a track you play, period. I shouldn't even have it in my playlist. Because for some reason, the asshole who made the soundtrack, I think his name is like Hans Zimmer, or whatever the hell that guy is, decided to put like a peaking, loud 8 hertz tone that's just like boom, and the shit shakes. And it booms, and it shakes. And it's not making me want to vomit. I know there's some IMs that have so much low end that if you get a good seal, they just shake your inner ear until you puke. Not this, but still, that was like a little bit of an eye-opening, like, oh shit, please don't shuffle to that ever again. Yeah, no, these are well-tuned. Thieaudio, look, it was like, what, the Thieaudio Legacy 4 was the only one I was like, on? And so... If they've learned anything, taking the Legacy 3, which I loved, or the Legacy 5, or the goddamn Thieaudio Kombucha. Wait, no, what's the Thieaudio one that I actually... Clairvoyance, not the Kombucha. I'm waiting for a headphone called the Kombucha. The Thieaudio Clairvoyance... Shit, do I have to compare against that? That's $700. And that's... The Clairvoyance is, again, kind of like more like the Aune Jasper, where it just settles down and steps back and just presents this loving, listenable experience. This, if you consider they came out with this first, they came out with the Oracle first. Let's make the world's most accurate, like, just unforgiving listening experience. It's just like, here's the fucking music, fuck you. And then they said, hey, why don't we tune this, since we have it already, and what we have to do is change some pipe lengths. Why don't we make like a fun version? That's what the Excalibur sound like. If you buy the Oracle, you're buying it because you actually want to work in an IM. And, I mean, you could pleasure listen all day. It's just... But I personally having them both here on my desk and having no love lost for one or the other at $10 difference. In fact, this is $10 cheaper. I'd take the Excalibur and I'd fucking run with it, because it's a little bit more forward and it's fun. I don't know how to put that into better words. It hits you with it. It's not like, hey, we're just gonna settle back and have a fucking coffee. We're going to sit upright and drink a Red Bull and then play the Little Witch Academia soundtrack, and it's gonna be like, holy shit, there's just sambas right there. There's just sambas right there. Yeah. There's like a pressure on my brain, not a bad one, like someone turned the put an IEM into 11 and they put it in your ears and it's like, wow, I'm experiencing the tingles from like everything. So yeah, these are that, but neutral, and these are that, but a little bit more sparkle and a little bit more low end, which makes the mid range seem a little bit reduced, and you got a little bit more soundstage with that somehow. So I mean, I fucking approve of these. I don't know if they replace the Neos. The Neos brought me to tears in some songs, the Thieaudio Neos. And I haven't had that song experience yet. Maybe I'm just in a different mood. Maybe I had breakfast this morning and I'm not feeling very vulnerable emotionally. But, these do startle me with what they are capable of. Oh my God, The Saint. That's a great movie with Val Kilmer. I have the Saint soundtrack. It's one of those movies that I wish Val Kilmer was in more serialized movies. I could watch him as the Saint in The Saint Returns, The Saint, Death, Love, and Jackals or some, I don't know, make up movies. Pearl Jam, Kick Drum. That's all I gotta say. Not for you. I think these are perfectly priced. That's a rare occasion for Zio, because usually I'm a price to performance dude. I get something that's super cheap and it's great, or I get something that's real expensive and kind of feels like it's not worth it, or it's just worth what it costs. Like the Nanas are $900, and the Thieaudio Neos are $900 or $1,100, and those are you have to understand that you're paying for it and you're getting it. They're just different flavors of that sort of level. These at under $550, you're getting 100% of what you're paying for in sound quality. I remember the first $400 set of IMs I reviewed way back. They were like Westtones. And these would shit on everything that was ever made by anyone who touched those IMs. So we're just getting better and better and better. Or my standards are getting lower and lower and lower. Pick your pick. I mean, it's not like I haven't listened to IMs. A lot of them. It's just I'm starting to understand more about what I'm looking for and what I can expect for the price. And just for this cable alone, which would be if I custom ordered one of these from the UK, it costs me $275. So you're getting basically a free $300 cable to go with your $500 IMs. So yeah, no, I'm good. This is good. This is actually there's no loser here. In fact, with the Jaspers being a $300 IM, that's not exactly budget. I know, I apologize. We'll get to some more ones that are on there that are just creeping down under the $100 mark. But yeah, those, if you've ever owned Argons, ever wanted a dark recess, just sit back and relax sound, these for working, and these for impressive, you put these in your friend's ears who's never heard a good IM, they'll fucking know. They're gonna be like, oh shit. So that's what music sounds like. And, that's all you could expect out of it. So I'll put this now. I'm going to put, hold on. Did I have the Excalibur? I'm going to switch this around. I'm going to put this in here now, and I'm going to have some more songs, but not on camera because I don't want to take up any more of your precious time. Sorry these videos are so long. If you use the links to jump to this, I should have said at the beginning to jump with where I talk about things. Anyway, yeah, links to all these. Thank you to Hi-Fi Go and Linsol for sending them out. Yard sales, if they just keep them, which they usually do, because if it costs them $500, if they're selling for $500, it probably costs the company that's making it $200. And if I talk about it again in a yard sale video, that's worth the weight in gold. I'm an advertising budget now. So $5 a month gets you in the $5 a month gets you into the yard sales and to see these reviews early. So if there's a low in stock, and for some reason everyone's buying Aune Jaspers, it's probably because they're patrons of mine. So if you want to see my reviews early and participate in yard sales where I'll sell things, possibly like this, or this, $5 a month on Patreon, Subscribe Star. $10 a month gets you in the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat, where if you want to ask me questions directly to my face, on my phone, ooh, things are out for delivery. Yeah, House of Patronage. Someone's messaging me in the House of Patronage, which is where you'll end up. And you can ask me anything you want, and I'll return your messages as soon as you see them in there. So yeah, that. Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forum exist. Please check them out. And I actually have a subreddit called Arzeos, and I may modify it or may delete it. I don't know. It's been a while. Who remembers Arzeos? Who made it to the very end of this video and remembers when Arzeos was the place to get like advice? I was reading it over recently. It's so archaic, but like I get the like people reading words versus this whole talking, waving hands things. I might have to do something similar on Hi-Fi Guides, like a permanent like explanation list. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Oh, wallpaper. Almost forgot the wallpaper. I want something classy because these are fucking classy. I mean, we got some. So that strap is doing a thing, but still, I'm all into this. So yeah, this, that, the next thing, Hi-Fi Guides in the forums, and the wallpapers. And I'll see you all in 2 days for another review.